So early summer and time to just have a look at a few of the wall climbers and see that they're growing where we want them to grow, and maybe to tie them in properly so that they twine away and establish themselves. And here we've got a Lapageria which has put on the most phenomenal growth. Lapagerias are quite capable of twining themselves round supports, and they're quite capable of going under and through these wires we've got here on the wall. But actually when you look further down, if the wind's going to blow, it could well snap off this lovely new shoot because it's not properly tied in. And all we need to do really is just to use what we call a twist it, which is a very simple thing, and just tie that in so when the wind blows we're not going to have a problem. This new shoot probably won't flower this year, but it will flower the year after, probably commencing in about September, October time and going on through maybe till December. And it just needs just a little bit more support to ensure that we don't have a disaster. If you prefer, you can use another sort of tie rather than these fairly straightforward twist-its. There are little plastic clips which do just as well. Obviously these little ties will rust and drop away in about a year, but you could equally well use a small plastic tie which is a bit more durable, and you very simply attach it in, and if the stem grows too much then you can loosen it at a later date. It just takes a matter of seconds. And if we look up here, we've got this shoot that's getting a bit out of hand. We just need to just gently secure it where we want it to, and frankly in time it'll continue to grow like last year's new growth did, and it'll anchor itself. So all we've done really is just given a little helping hand. And now let's go and look at a couple of other wall climbers with very different habits and see what we can do to help them at the start of summer. So here we've got a nice little climbing plant which has got disturbed by some repointing going on the wall, and it's clearly come adrift from the wall, and it's in need of straightening up and tying back in. And we've got some wires here which are already in place, which have become loose, so we just need to secure those. And actually I think here we can probably encourage these shoots to, instead of growing outwards, to start to grow upwards by carefully untangling one or two and then just twisting them around this piece of wire so that they've got a chance to get a move on and start to climb up the wall. And I think that probably it might be best to use a little bit of string here. And this is very soft string which is used in gardening because it rots away in time, but it doesn't harm or crush or rub against the plant that's being tied in to the wire. And so I'm just gently tying this in, being careful not to actually damage the plant, but just to get it into a position where, given a little bit of time and new growth, it'll start away growing up that wire, and it'll twine itself around that wire, and we can probably help that a little bit and just cut off the end of the string. There we go. Actually, there's another bit of wire there. I wonder if we can get that to reach up as well and twist it round so that now we've got the plant is upright, it's tucked in its nice little sheltered corner, and hopefully later in the summer it'll produce its little white bell-like flowers. It's in the wind a bit, but the new growth is coming, and I'm sure that given a little bit of time, perhaps a stiller day than today, that'll grow away nicely and grow right up the wall in a few years' time and put on a good show. So in this corner we've got another climber. This is a very rare Berberidopsis beckleri, which has pinkish red flowers like lanterns late on in the autumn. It's quite a vigorous climber. It's quite tender, so it needs plenty of shelter as it's got here. And again, it's starting to go up this corner quite nicely, but we've got these odd shoots here that are not properly tied in, and with another quick little couple of twist-its we can make that shoot start to go where we want it to go, and another little tie in here will get that second shoot to start doing what we want it to do. And there's a bit of wire here which again the builders have moved around a bit, but if we just twist that in, we've got the central leading shoot. And actually, look, I said it flowered later in the year, but it seems to have a very early red flower that'll open pinkish. I think it's all a bit rickety. I think we could do with another tie-in to here, just to make sure it doesn't blow off the wall altogether in a windy time. You can just snip off those loose ends so that it looks a bit tidier. Anyway, that's now secure. It's only taken a minute, but it'll make a tremendous difference, and hopefully in a few years' time this wall will be covered with this Berberidopsis, which is a new species, very little known in the UK, and hopefully it'll grow on to being something very good in a few years' time. It's now in the nursery catalogue. We've only got a few plants, but it's something really new and different.